Hey folks, Dr. Mike Israetel here for Renaissance Periodization, video number 12 in the Hypertrophy Made Simple series, beginner versus intermediate versus advanced training. How do we approach them? If you want way more details, check out our Hypertrophy Guide Central Hub on our website and check out our other YouTube videos that are longer form on these same subjects. Here's the deal. First of all, which one are you? Are you or your clients intermediate, beginner, advanced? Which one? Well, here's the deal. Here's how you can tell. Beginners, you're just lifting and you just keep getting bigger and stronger automatically. You haven't put damn near any thought into it. You're just getting awesome all the time. You're a beginner for sure. And that can last for years and years sometimes when you have really good genetics. And another telltale sign is you get stronger even when you're losing weight. Definite beginner sign. If you're an intermediate, that means you've hit your first plateau and had some challenges to your muscle growth. You've probably solved it. You figured it out, but you're like, ooh, that was weird. Okay, never had that struggle before. And you need to nail the basics to consistently continue to progress. Also, you get a little stronger during weight loss periods, but just barely. So you're having mostly maintenance times during weight loss periods. If you're gaining tons of strength during weight loss, you're not intermediate yet, you're just a beginner. If you're advanced, your nutrition, your recovery, your sleep, and all of your training has to be very meticulous and well-planned, or you simply don't make gains if all the pieces don't fit. And in the best case, you maintain your strength during weight loss. You almost certainly don't gain it. And sometimes you even lose a little bit of repetition strength. That's how you know you're advanced. What should beginner training look like? For a variety of reasons we've described in other literature and tons of other videos, here's the deal. Beginners should do mostly sets of 5 to 10 repetitions, especially for technique learning. They should focus mostly on the compound heavy barbell basics, not a lot of fancy stuff. They should focus really greatly on improving and solidifying their technique. Technique's number one. For that reason, they want to avoid training way too close to failure because technique breaks down. And without super crazy high volumes. So you want to push them in volume until they feel challenged and then go back, reduce the volume, and increase the load on the bar. And they're going to train each muscle roughly 2 to 4 times per week, but they only train 2 to 4 times per week. So it's going to be a whole lot of whole body work, which is super, super awesome for beginners. Intermediates should do mostly sets of 5 to 10, but now do lots of sets of 10 to 20 reps as well. Really good. They should focus mostly on the compound basics, but thread in some isolations and mostly stick to free weights, not a ton of machines just yet. They should focus on altering their technique to fit their personal stimulus to fatigue ratios. So you could say, here's your basic squat technique that you learned now. Does it feel better if you have a slightly closer stance, slightly wider stance? They should start exploring that and doing what feels best for them. Because for the first time ever, they have a feel of what actually feels best versus just what they should be doing. Beginners have no idea what feels best. Number 4, intermediates should start pushing their training hard, starting at 3 reps in reserve at the beginning of a mesocycle and at the end going 1 or 0 RIR in most cases. And the emphasis must be on breaking psychological barriers and physical barriers, getting stronger every single month, making sure that you're geeking everything you can out of your muscles, really learning how to train hard. Because beginners, they need to learn how to train right with really good technique. Intermediates can now really start to push it because their technique is already settled in to a very, very good margin. They want to train for intermediates between minimum effective volume and maximum recoverable. You want to burn them every single time through that whole range. Towards the end, they should be really faltering in their performance. Then you deal with them. You don't have to save them from high volumes. And they're going to train each muscle 2 to 4 times per week in about 3 to 6 total weekly sessions because they need more training now to really put the emphasis on muscle growth. Lastly, advanced training. Advanced folks should do sets of mostly in the 10 to 20 rep range with some work in the 5 to 10 and some work in the 20 to 30 rep range as well. For exercises, they should focus on the exercises which have the best stimulus to fatigue ratios for them, be that isolations, compounds, or any one of those, and any mix of those. They should be exploring new exercises and techniques fairly often to try to maximize their stimulus to fatigue ratio. How can we do a hack squat differently, a leg press differently? How can I turn the dumbbells differently to get better feel in my chest, less feel in my joints, so on and so forth? That kind of fancy stuff, not really for intermediates, definitely not for beginners, but the advanced can really start to benefit from it. What about training hard? they start training very, very hard, pushing 2 reps in reserve all the way to failure and even beyond, while learning to cultivate and maintaining a strong mind-muscle connection, perceiving the tension through the target muscle, ripping it apart, perceiving the lactic acid burn in the target muscle as they have perfect technique, as they're grinding towards failure. It's very difficult to do all 3 of those. Good technique, hard training, and a mind-muscle connection. As a matter of fact, a good mind-muscle connection is built on these other 2, which is why beginners are only learning good technique. Intermediates learn how to use their good technique with hard training. The advanced need to start incorporating the mind-muscle connection as well, and they're the only ones ready to do it because they have those 2 requisite pillars already built. MEV to MRV in most mesos, and it might be a pretty narrow window now. Your minimum effective volume might be 12 sets per week for biceps. Your maximum recoverable might be 14 because you're so big and so strong and so close to your limits. So yes, you do go MEV to MRV for advanced, but that walk might be a very short one. Indeed, mostly you add reps and you add load and just add sets every now and again as your body demonstrates an ability to recover. Lastly, these folks, the advanced, want to train each muscle in each of 2 to 6 sessions per week. Okay, a pretty big range there. And really in 5 to 12 weekly sessions, this is where double days of training and phasic approach of pushing some muscles, MEV to MRV, sometime backing away and going to maintenance volume on other muscles other time starts to be a really, really good idea. Folks, thanks for tuning in. See you for the next video.